All right, let's talk about the New York Knickerbockers. What an incredible crowd at Madison Square Garden, right? Did you hear that? I could feel New York City coursing through my veins, and I wasn't even at the game. To the refs that might be watching Hall of Trivia right now, right? I'm looking you in the eyes. Trae Young flops, all right? Because he throws his arms around and stuff like that, he tries to sell fouls. This isn't a hot take. This is just a thing out there, all right? With that said, big shout out to Julius Randle, the NBA's most improved player for the 2020 to 21 season. Congrats, Julius. All right, folks. Welcome back, everyone, into Hall of Trivia on HQ. Our sports and fantasy-themed trivia show sponsored by the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. My name is Jeff Eisenband, and I will be your Mike Green tonight, telling you bang and banks it in on correct answers. 12 of them to be exact. That'll make you a winner tonight. You get 12 right. First, let's head over to the Start Sit Fantasy Pick and Pool. Each week, we give you two or more players from a specific sport. You pick the player who will have more fantasy points that game, that week, that whatever we're talking about. Get the most wins by the end of the contest, and you and whoever is left split the prize pot of $10,000. Some people remember the old Michael Buffer and New York lottery. $10 million. Now 10,000. 2 weeks ago, we gave you Shohei Ohtani, and he had a rare loss. He didn't lose the game, but he did lose. Well, he didn't get the loss. That's what I should say. But he did lose the fantasy battle to Lance McCullers Jr. Nice job, Lance, giving people a win. This week, we go back to the NBA. We tried to give you LeBron once, and he was injured. This time, it's the Lakers against Devin Booker and the Suns. Who do you got, LeBron James or Devin Booker? Go. Is Kendall Jenner voting? Is she in there? Kendall, if you're in here, I know you're voting for Devin, but I'd say most people are probably going to go with LeBron. Would be my guess, even with the Lakers losing that first game. But not, listen, Asaf, you would have said you might have gone Devin Booker, 56% LeBron, a little closer, a little too close for comfort, LeBron. The Lakers going down 0-2. At Hall of Trivia here, we are sponsored by the Hall of Fantasy League, which is now open for staking. The league includes 10 fantasy football teams representing 10 different cities in the United States of America. And you, the fans, will be able to stake your money on the teams. If the team you invest in wins, you will end the season with some extra cash. Think of it as an investment in a team. You're basically an owner. All right? It's a big deal. Hall of Fantasy League. Folks, the days of no one caring about your fantasy team are over. To learn more, visit the HOFL.com today. All right, it's gone. Anyway, now let's do that trivia. I'm going to ask you 12 questions. If you get all the questions right, you and whoever's left will split the prize pot of $2,500. That's Guy Fieri money. And I say that, do people know what happened with Guy Fieri? All right? Guy Fieri got a 3-year, $80 million contract from the Food Network. I mean, that's like NBA max contract sort of stuff. I don't even know how many sports can you make that? I think it was something like 10 to 15 NFL players make more than that. That's it. There's something like 7 quarterbacks that make more than that. Guy Fieri would be among the highest paid players in a lot of leagues. Did you know that, Asaf? Asaf says Guy Fieri couldn't sink a foul shot. I don't know. If you've ever watched Warriors games, he's right up front. I think he does like some halftime show performances or something like that. I don't know. Guy Fieri can ball. He can play football. And the biggest thing is that Flavortown is apparently worth 3 years, $80 million. Scott Boras must be doing Guy Fieri's deals out there. Are we ready to start? We're ready to go. All right, Q1. Who is the oldest golfer to ever win a major? Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, or Shooter McGavin? We are back in sports trivia town, folks. We spent about 30 seconds in Flavortown, but we're back here. At 50. Yes, age 50. Phil Mickelson set the record with a 2-stroke win at this past weekend's PGA Championship, edging Brooks Koepka and Louis Oosthuizen. Put it this way. Phil Mickelson could get the vax earlier than most people, and then he still beat all those guys in a professional golf tournament, one of the biggest 4 tournaments of the entire year. Shooter McGavin, of course, never won the Tour Championship. Oh, no. Give it to us. Give it to us. It looks good, but Shooter did not win the Tour Championship. I also don't know how old he was. Q2. In the Indianapolis 500, what does the 500 represent? Laps, miles, or turns? The Indy 500 is how you might know it. Not Little Indy, for the Indiana Bloomington fans out there. The Indy 500. If you're in IndyCar's biggest race, you're taking roughly 800 turns over 200 laps, and that's 500 miles. This year's race happens to be coming up this Sunday. The Proclaimers were big Indy 500 fans, right? That's why they said, and I would race 500 miles to end up at your finish line. And we go to Q3. Which of these players won this year's NBA scoring title? Stephen Curry, Nikola Jokic, or Bradley Beal? And I wonder why this would be Q3. And yet another unhuman feat for Stephen Curry. He carried the Warriors to the play-in tournament by leading the NBA in scoring, and now the playoffs just aren't the same without him. They're just not as fun. Curry averaged 32.0 points per game. Next up on his team was Andrew Wiggins at 18.6. Draymond Green had 7 points per game, which sounds low, but Defensive Player in the Year finalists. So, Dre, you did your part, all right? The rest of the Warriors did not. What was that? Embiid's the seasonal MVP. Embiid? Oh, well, you might be a breaking news for us right now, Asaf. I might have to check my phone. Apparently, the league MVP might have come out. You could also move us to Q4, which is who was the first player to reach double-digit stolen bases this season? Tim Anderson, Byron Buxton, or Whit Merrifield? Now I got to check because I have a lot of push notifications on, Asaf. Are we breaking news here for the people? I don't have any official sources. Just producer Asaf saying the NBA MVP. So we're not going to report that. But I'll tell you this. Some of you out there probably thought the Chicago answer was the right one. It's not. Whit Merrifield is just going to be underrated forever. This guy, if you know your fantasy baseball, you know how much of a star he is. He's led the AL in hits twice. He's led the league in steals twice. He's leading the league in steals again. First one, double digits, is him. We had over 1,000 people guess each. This was a challenging Q4. Robert07 says Embiid. Roberto7. Asaf's wearing a Pirates jersey too, so I don't know if that's just him with a Roberto Clemente reference. I need Woj or Shams before I'm going to report that, all right? Or the NBA. Q5. LeBron James violated COVID protocols last week by attending an event promoting what? An album release, tequila, a new car. And no, LeBron is not the MVP, if that's what you're looking for. This happened. LeBron partied it up on social media last week with Drake and Michael B. Jordan. Not a bad life. They were promoting Lobos 1797 tequila, of which LeBron is also an investor. Despite this, the NBA ruled that his attendance did not create a risk, so he was not suspended. Even though he violated protocols, he was not suspended. In related news, Kristaps Porzingis went to a club apparently last weekend and was fined $50,000. Not allowed to do that during COVID in the NBA. Q6. Who will Tyson Fury face for the third time for a title defense this July? Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, or Andy Ruiz? I think I could take Tyson Fury. He's strong, but he doesn't have, I don't think he's got like the length you need, right? Anthony Joshua is ranked above Deontay Wilder in almost every one of the many trustworthy boxing rankings out there. But boxing makes no sense. So it'll be Fury Wilder 3, July 24th in Vegas. Nice job, 8,270 you. Boxing, other sports have commissioners and stuff like that. Boxing just has lawyers, agents, promoters, really shady people, I think was what I was looking for here. All right, let's take a break. It's the halftime tweet and greet. I asked you on Twitter. I said, what's the best sports video game of all time? And let me tell you, we had the most answers. I have no date on this, but I'm just guessing. The most answers that I've ever seen for this. So clearly, I struck a nerve with you guys. There were some awesome answers. I actually haven't seen what we've got out here. So hopefully we have them ready. Marco Juan said backyard baseball with the original Shohei Ohtani and had Pablo Sanchez right there. That's the original two-way player. The Smash Simmons, easy NBA jam, boom, shakalaka. And this one from people we know, HQ Trivia. The fact that you could make Sammy Sosa karate kick the catcher makes MLB Slugfest top tier. So many great ones. I saw NHL 94 in there, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I saw Madden 04. The list goes on and on. We couldn't pick everyone. Nice job. The correct answer, by the way, in my mind, was MVP Baseball 2005. Mario Golf was also in there. Q7. Which player once led the Premier League in both goals and assists in the same season? David Beckham, Harry Kane, or Cristiano Ronaldo? I reminded there was like Mike Tyson's knockout, punch-out was in there, Tecmo Bowl, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. Some of them were even before my time. This question right here. Andy Cole did this in the early 1990s. Everyone remembers that, right? Then no one else pulled the double until this year when Tottenham's Harry Kane won the Golden Boot and Playmaker of the Year. 7,355 of you got that. Spurs fans, enjoy it because for only so much longer you can say, he's one of our own. And I'm sorry to our British audience who despises my accent. Q8. At what racetrack did the fight between Cale Yarborough and the Allison brothers take place? Talladega, Indianapolis, or Daytona? We're talking about the Allison brothers, not stepbrothers, who were both in Talladega. This wild moment had everything: a crash, a win by Richard Petty, and a fight between an all-time great and one of racing's most famous families. It all happened on the last lap of the 1979 Daytona 500. Did I know that before asking this question? Absolutely not. Somehow 7,036 of you did. How did we sneak 2 NASCAR questions in here? I've got to talk to the writers. I got to sit them down. NASCAR? Do we get a third NASCAR question, or how about this one? Q9. What was the first country to defeat the U.S. in the America's Cup sailing competition? England, Australia, or Italy? I feel like I'm on SNL right now, like saying some of these questions. Like, we've gone from NASCAR to sailing out here. For more than a century, it was the U.S. versus the Brits, and the U.S. swept the whole thing. Eventually, other countries competed to find a worthy challenger, and in 1983, the Aussies took the cup. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Can we call this a regatta? We called it a sailing competition. It doesn't sound as intimidating. 6,888 of you knew that it was Australia that finally took down the Americans. Nice job. We head to double digits, Q10. Simone Biles became the first woman to ever land a move in what event this week? Floor exercise, parallel bars, or vault? Simone Biles, been around a while, but what she did this past week was incredible. In gymnastics, it's Simone Biles, and then it's everyone else. Like, not just now, but like in history. The Yurchenko double pike vault had traditionally only been landed by men until Simone at this week's U.S. Classic. Congrats to Simone and congrats to the 6,900 of you that got that. I feel like this is this generation's 900 by Tony Hawk, right? Get Simone a video game. Simone Biles is pro vaulter, pro gymnast. Simone Biles, pro gymnast. Can I get investors on that? Let's make that game. Q11. Who was the first NHL player to reach 10 points this Stanley Cup playoffs? Nathan MacKinnon, Nikita Kucherov, or Jonathan Huberdeau? MacKinnon, Kucherov, or Huberdeau? Well, Nathan MacKinnon and Nikita Kucherov are two of the marquee players in the NHL. They're two magicians, and ultimately they'll probably be at the top of the points list this postseason. But it's been Huberdeau with 10 points in 5 games who's stolen the show. 1,125. Yeah, that's right. That's a stacked question. That's a checked question. This is one of those questions that I really hope I'm right with. I feel like I checked it, and this is what it was. The Panthers are facing elimination now, so Huberdeau can only do this for so long. But wow, that's a sack. That's a hit. That's a checked question is what we would say in hockey terms. It's now time for the final question. Tony La Russa would say, you're playing too well if you've gone this far, so mess up this last question. I say, go for it. Q12. Which player once held the NCAA record for most career triple-doubles? Shaquille O'Neal, Lamar Odom, or Jason Kidd? Wow. So that we changed out that Q11 because the old Q11 was actually statistically wrong. Look what happened. Lamar Odom and Jason Kidd, they played some of the most versatile basketball in college and pro history. Shaq, his triple-doubles, they were a little unorthodox, going for points, rebounds, and blocks. And his 6 stood as the record until BYU's Kyle Collinsworth broke it in 2015. He now has 12, finished with 12. Shaq's the answer we were looking for, 2,730. You got that right, and that makes you, can I do the Shaq dunk? Winners! Need a jump. Get like that Shaq Reebok pump. That Reebok pump logo, not punk logo. All right, who won? Let's see who we got tonight. Nice job, Lavica Webb, Sun 6, Suk 36389, Hoffman 26 did it. Player inside. How about Kings 89? You can take home 91 cents. Mena CR7. You didn't say Cristiano. Nice job on that one. Time Sylvester, Joey Miller 4, Sarah Ratliff. I don't think that you're Jenna Fisher, but that's your profile picture. Joe Froth 34. Gazars. Jonas 566. That sounds like a Rick and Morty character. Gazars. Yudi 33. Kitty 2001. Sherelle 5. Who else we got? Oh, Joseph 768. Nice job. Congrats to all our winners. You are the Phil Mickelsons of this week, defying all the odds to get your Hall of Trivia glory. And if you're older, you defeat Father Time. Great call by Jim Nance. We play Hall of Trivia every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time now, and we have a ton of great sports games coming up. For more news and information on the Hall of Trivia, follow us on social at HQ Sports and at the HOF League. I'm really like fingers crossed after last week that Huberdeau question, I don't have people tweeting at me right now that was wrong. We'll see. As always, a special thanks to our sponsors at the Hall of Fame, As always, a special thanks to our sponsors at the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. I have been your host, Jeff Eisenband. Until next time, have the best fantasy version of your week. Get some knockouts, turn some double plays. I want to see you get up and down for par. Forecheck, just don't get vultured. Jeff Eisenband signing out. See you soon.